What is up, YouTube, and welcome to True Vision is Unselfish. I am your host, a servant on assignment to inform some and encourage others to know that you do have a purpose. No matter what you have been through in life, no matter what you may be going through, God can still use you. Please never forget this. All right, so today, y'all, I want to talk about, hold on now. Hello, Redbone. Yes, sir. I just wanted to say. Yeah. Who are you talking to? Yeah, I know what I'm getting at. That's how some of y'all's day look. Yeah, we're going to talk about it today. Put it on the screen. Social media. People of God. Let's talk about it. Before I begin unpacking this very powerful and prolific message, let me first preface by saying this, that I am fully aware that the topic of social media is a very controversial and sensitive subject. For some, social media is life. It's everything. You just cannot do without it. It's like coffee in the morning. It is a necessity. Please know that my goal is not to bash social media. I mean, I'm delivering this message via social media. But my goal is to hopefully educate and maybe shine light for many to see the much bigger picture at hand, which is this. You were born because there is something God wanted done, and it required you. Your existence on this earth is no accident, and you were placed in time to fulfill a purpose. And that purpose will require your undivided attention. That purpose will require much sacrifice, and that purpose will interrupt your regularly scheduled program. I would like to tag a title to this message. Please be watchful of time thieves. In the pursuit of discovering my purpose, it is then that I really began to see just how much of my day was being occupied by this obsession that would be prevalent from the time I opened my eyes until I would retire to bed for the evening. I couldn't help but to acknowledge that at times when engaged in reading, writing, or even rehearsing my messages, that I would feel this incessant pull that would infiltrate my thoughts and even hinder my ability to retain information that I had just finished reading. Stupid truck outside making all that noise. I'm sorry, y'all. The urge to go back to scrolling, liking, sharing, following, then repeating would oftentimes leave me discouraged and disoriented, because I do desire to be obedient to the task that God has purposed me with, but seemingly daily missing the mark. I know what God has called me to do, and I do understand my purpose, but to be quite transparent, I'm finding it so very difficult to stay on task. Starting is not the problem, but Lord, I need your help because I just cannot seem to finish. Maybe your struggle is in reading or writing, but everyone has something. That assignment that God has tasked you to do, the vision that you see when going about your daily routines. But would you be honest in confessing that even in the midst of discovering and fulfilling your purpose, you are facing a stronghold that causes you to not stay fully engaged, and that in a sense leaves you in a state of mental gridlock? Ladies and gentlemen, the fight of the decade has finally arrived, and I'm not talking Spence Crawford. In this corner stands the contender, your purpose, the reason for your existence. And in the neutral corner, the reigning defending champion, social media. They are both at war for your time, and an epic battle is sure to ensue. So I must pose the question: how many of you are really willing to fight for your purpose? I love this quote by Alexander Hamilton: if you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. So me personally, I made a decision to every day stand 10 toes down and to fight for my purpose. I would like to know strategically in the art of war, when most fighters are aware of who their next opponent will be, one of the strategies they begin is to begin gathering data, watching films in hopes to gain an advantage over their opponent. So that's exactly what I did. I followed suit. I began to research social media on a much larger scale, gathering data based on daily usage time, seeking to find which platforms are most sought after, and what are the long-term results of exposure to social media. The findings from that information that I discovered is quite alarming, to say the least. And if you would oblige me before a few moments, I would love to share this information with you. Disclaimer: before the ride begins, I would advise you to buckle your seatbelts, because this ride is about to get bumpy. Did you know every second 11 people use social media for the first time? I'm going to ask the question again for the people in the back who may not have heard me. Did you know every second 11 people use social media for the first time? Because I didn't. See, when I originally saw this number, first I started shaking my head because there is no way that this was true. Then I couldn't help but to start doing a little arithmetic. If these statistics are true, and every second 11 people use social media for the first time, that means that every minute 660 people use social media for the first time. Every hour 39,600, and every day over 950,000 people use social media for the first time. Y'all, I felt the cussing spirit coming over me just now. Over 950,000 people a day. As Pastor Darius Daniels would say, I'm not going to bother that. Let's keep this ball rolling globally. Did you know the average social media user, now these are average numbers, spends about 2.5 to 3 hours a day on social media? Here's the age group breakdown. Tweens, those who are between the ages of 9 and 12, spend between 5 and 9 hours a day on social media and gaming. Pardon me, if I may. But what happened to going outside and riding your bike with friends? Jumping off the swings, trying to learn how to do backflips, collecting bugs. Do kids even still collect bugs nowadays? Let me tell you a little story. When I was little, we used to go out in the cabinets and get old jars, go outside and try to find bugs and catch them, put them in a jar, put the lid on it and shake it up and make them fight. Was it wrong? Yes. Was it fun? Yes. Come on, y'all. Hide and seek. Red light, green light. Spin the bottle. Not spin the bottle. Spin the bottle could go left real fast. Duck, duck, goose. Marco Polo. Truth or dare. Truth or dare could go left. That could go left too. You know what? I'm gonna just go to the next numbers. That's my bad. I'm gonna go to the next numbers. Ages 13 through 24, 3 hours and 45 minutes. Ages 25 through 34, 3 hours. Ages 35 through 44, 2 hours and 34 minutes. Ages 45 through 54, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And ages 55 plus, 1 hour and 15 minutes a day on social media. Can I holler at the grandparents for a brief moment? Sorry, forgive me. Grandparents, please be careful on social media. Please. We do not want to continue to see you harm yourselves doing skateboard, crate, and spicy food challenges. Let me explain why. Grandmothers, We need you for your smiles and your words of encouragement. It means the world to us. When I was little, my grandmother used to have a recording on her answering service that said, "And smile sometimes. It helps keep the wrinkles away." As a child, that used to mean so much to me. I remember I used to call her when I knew she wasn't home, just so I can hear her voice and that recording. Grandmothers, we also need you for your love and your wisdom, and to maybe help teach some of these women how to cook. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was a thought, and I just blurted it out. I didn't mean it that way. And we got the fire truck going. I tell you, it's a day. Grandfathers, we need you for your love and your wisdom as well, for teaching young men respect, chivalry, and if the moment calls for it, getting the right switch off the tree. This generation don't know nothing about no switch. And I'm not talking about no switch for no firearm. Jimmy, go to timeout. Where they do that at? Grandfathers, we also need you for showing these young men the significance of wearing a belt. Some of these young men walking around out here with their dirty drawers showing. Now for that, I will not apologize. Grandparents, this generation needs y'all more than you know. Please make time to spend with your grandbabies. Sorry, I got off topic. Just something that God laid on my heart. I'm going to get back to the numbers. Next numbers. These next numbers right here, when I first read them, I honestly thought it was a misprint because there was no way that these numbers were true. But I cross-referenced it to a couple other sites, and for the most part, the numbers are consistent. One of the first words that came to my mind is scary. I'm talking Michael Myers standing at the front door just staring at you scared. Y'all remember Michael Myers? People be talking to him, yelling at him, "You ain't nobody scared of you. You ain't gonna do nothing." And Mike would just give you that little head tilt. You done messed up. That's what that means. That's how scary these numbers are, y'all. Are y'all ready for me to give y'all these numbers? All right. These numbers are based off of the average lifespan, which is 74 years of age. And this person being exposed to social media between the ages of 8 and 10. Here we go. If exposed to social media at the age of 10 years old and lived to see 74 years of age, based on statistics, this individual will have spent, are y'all sure y'all want me to give y'all these numbers? All right. If exposed to social media at the age of 10 years old and lived to see 74 years of age, based on statistics, this individual will have spent 3.4 million minutes on social media in their lifetime. I told y'all you weren't ready. I told you. 3.4 million minutes is equivalent to 6 years and 8 months. There's more. With social media usage numbers rising, it is projected that the average social media user, by the time they reach the age of 74, will be on track to have spent a decade or more on social media in their lifetime. A decade. Did I say a decade? For those who are unclear of how long a decade is, that is 10 years. So you're telling me that there is someone out there that will reach the age of 74 and will have spent 10 plus years of their life online? Bruh. I'm showing my age here, but cut the jokes. I don't know about y'all, but those numbers are very disturbing to me. I mean, that's a wake-up call for real, y'all. Just sit back and let those numbers sink in. What more could you accomplish in the span of 10 years if you dedicated your life to it? So now you have a little bit more insight as to what you're up against. Remember, these are average numbers. The scary part is, in some cases, these numbers will be higher. So forgive me, but I must ask the question, who's really winning the battle of time in your life? If the questions arise, what you trying to say, bro? What's the purpose for this message? I just kicked the camera. What is the purpose for this message? Why are you giving me all these breakdowns on social media numbers? Because I want everyone to see that if we are not careful, we will dedicate so much time on social media platforms that we lose sight of spending time with friends and family. And even more importantly, lose sight of the purpose that God has for our life. And why is purpose so important? Because purpose gives meaning to life. And because whether you know it or not, you stepping into your purpose affects someone else. For the naysayers who say that purpose is not important, let's take a little history trip. Let's test your theory. So tell me, if Martin Luther King Jr. does not have a dream, are we as a people still segregated? Or how about if Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak don't spend countless hours trying to perfect computer technology? Is the company Apple ever created? And most importantly, if Jesus does not sacrifice himself on Calvary, where would humanity be? All pioneers who have forever revolutionized this world, driven by purpose and selflessness, all while also understanding the importance of effective time management. There is no one in history who utilized their time more effectively than Jesus did. Jesus epitomizes the significance of effective time management. It is said that the ministry of Jesus lasted roughly about 3.5 years. And yet the Bible states that in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 25, that the things Jesus did, if they were written one by one, John supposed that not even the world could contain enough books that will be written. Here is one of the reasons the ministry of Jesus is so powerful. Jesus didn't have a car, a plane, a bus, a Uber, or a motorcycle. Jesus walked. He was about his Father's business. So please, do not continue to think that your purpose is only about you and how you utilize your time is of no significance. I cannot tell any of you how to live your life or what to do with your time, but I will say this. We are each ridiculously responsible for discovering and stewarding over the gifts that God has placed on the inside of us. Your purpose is not in the future, and your purpose is not in the past. Your purpose is on the inside of you. Dr. Miles Monroe said it this way: what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies on the inside of us. God placed everything on the inside of you to do what you have been called to do. As Apollo Creed's trainer Duke told Rocky before he fought Ivan Drago, you know what you got to do. Do it. Do it. Because what you do does matter. Stop telling yourself you don't matter. Listen to me. You do matter. You are so important. You are special, and you do have a purpose. So today I am challenging everyone, to take careful inventory of how you utilize your time. If you are unsure what your purpose is in life, I encourage you to pray and ask God for discernment in that area. Start writing down what you think it may be. Just as a hint, your purpose is usually centered around an area that irritates you the most. Start looking for opportunities to serve just so it is clear This message is not me suggesting to you that you eradicate social media from your life. But if that is what God has told you to do, then I advise you to be obedient. What I am simply suggesting is this, is that you take the time to think beyond yourself and consider others, your children and your children's children, your family and your friends, that person whom you might never meet, who will be blessed because you made a decision to activate your gift and to steward over your time more wisely. Time to act is now, because the fight is not over. We are entering the 7th round of this 12-round title fight. And the scorecards are reading 3 rounds to purpose, 3 rounds to social media. Do me a favor. Write this down. Put it in your reminders, put it on the refrigerator, put it in your notes, text it to someone. Ready? You were born to do something, but you do not have forever to do. Stay tuned, lock in, part 3. Your boy's gonna bring the smoke. Until next time, be blessed and be encouraged.